Welcome to Seven Figure Entrepreneur, the #1 podcast bringing you behind the scenes with real entrepreneurs and online marketers. We are your hosts, Gabe, Ansel, Tyler, Devin down below right there. On episode 29, we have a very special guest who has been on both sides of the business, actually. From a partner at represent.com, it does like print on demand, really cool website, to doing $1 million day on Shopify and Facebook with his agency. He is 100% the real deal. And with that being said, welcome to the podcast, Kenny Stevens.
Thank you guys. It's great to be here.
Yes.
So,
I feel like we need a round of applause right there.
The Facebook killer. We do. I feel like we need like a crowd or something, like a fake crowd. Like, yes.
The only thing that gets me excited is not praise, it's dollar signs.
I feel you. I'm with you on that one, man. I am with you on that one. So like, yeah, man, let's get started. Because like you've been on both sides of this business. You've seen it. Yeah. You were just saying before we started recording here that you've also done some Shopify stuff. So you have like done the full spectrum here. And I'm really excited to dig into that. So let's get started. Like, how did you get into the online world? How did you become an online entrepreneur and get to where you are today?
Well, I actually kind of started out as it wasn't anything that I wasn't doing this to, based off of somebody else's screenshots thinking I was going to be
Yes.
a millionaire. I actually got into doing this because I had a prior 15-year career in traditional sales and marketing.
Oh, nice.
And, business to business type stuff. And then found myself unemployed. And I had a friend of mine who was basically saying, you need to do this whole Facebook thing. And I'm like, how are you making money like posting like photos of cats and dogs on Facebook? Like that was literally my first experience with it. And he's like, no, Kenny, he's like, you really got to do this. He's like, I made $300,000 last year. And I'm like, oh, well, that's some decent money.
Yeah. I'm in.
So it took him about a year of trying to convince me to do it, but eventually I did it.
Dude, I have to say that's a good friend right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good friend.
He's actually turned into a client, so it's kind of funny.
That's
I'll mention who he is a little bit later, but basically I got going. It took me probably 6 months. Was on unemployment, making $2,000 a month, and I asked my wife, I'm like, hey, can I spend some money on Facebook? Can I spend 10% of our income? And she obliged.
Wow. Hats off to your wife, bro.
Yeah. I mean, because most women would be like, oh, you crazy? You want to spend money on Facebook, something you don't even know about?
Cats and dogs.
Like you're
Cats
like,
and dogs.
Yeah. So took me 6 months, but by my 6th month, I made my first $2,000. And then the next month I made $8,000. The next month I made $17,000. The next month I made $21,000. So it just kept going up and up.
Wow.
And that was kind of like my beginning of my success story within my first year. And then eventually,
to touch on there for a second, what were you selling at that time?
I had a camping website, and what we basically built a site or a page called I Love Camping.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything special, but we grew it so fast that we had more engagement and activity than Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, and Camping World combined.
Wow.
Really?
With only 150,000 followers.
That's amazing. Are you a big camper?
Yeah, we've got a big
Cool.
RV camper trailer.
Nice. That's awesome.
We do glamping.
Yes. When you got a family though, I feel like it's probably a lot easier.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we've got, I've got my wife and we've got 4 children, and that's just one of the things we love to do is travel to like unique like state parks and whatnot and do that.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was kind of how.
Man, you're not a quitter.
Exactly. So I got into that because that was my passion, and so we started growing that brand, and then eventually. I got very involved in Donald Wilson's laboratory, which I think both of you guys are familiar with. And, back in the day, I was sharing, I was one of the first guys that was using lookalike audiences and sharing a lot of my details in, and I don't know if you guys are still in that group. You could probably go back through and look at some of the old stuff that I was posting in there.
Yeah.
But But that kind of got me noticed by a few different people. Sunfrog was the first one. They wanted me to come on as a partner because that's what I was using as my supplier, and they saw the numbers that I was doing. And then and so right about that time, that's when Represent reached out to me for a partnership as well. And so obviously the partnership opportunity was much, much better with those guys. And so we went from essentially doing, I think they were doing like $500,000 in revenue. Like they had just started, they pivoted from a previous company called Prizeo, which was similar, but they didn't do print on demand. And so I joined with those guys, and within 2 years, we were doing about $65 to $70 million in sales a year.
Wow. Represent got that big?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And then we sold for $100 million.
Damn.
So it was pretty good.
That's crazy, man. So did you run a lot of the internal traffic?
I did. I was their chief development officer, so I oversaw all of the sales from not only from the affiliates traffic, but we also I oversaw all the affiliates and managed those relationships. I managed all of our traffic for all of our celebrities, and then I built out an internal team that was doing our own designs. We were pushing out about 500 designs a week, and we were doing like $20 million in sales.
You were a busy
dude. 30 year sales.
What?
I was going to say that was about a third of your sales then, was all internal.
Yeah. And we did. And so that's what we did is I built this massive, massive team internally that was doing the traffic and pushing out the standard stuff that we used to, look at in the Teespring days when, this mom loves her or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that. And it's funny because that was my pivot from affiliate marketing into e-commerce. I started with Represent, and I got introduced to you guys by Adrian Morrison. I remember talking to you
that's cool.
and stuff. Yeah, just being like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just tell me what to do. Yeah.
Adrian's a cool dude.
Yeah, he is, man. Yeah, great guy. Man, that's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah,
it blows my mind, man. Because did you have past experience on building teams and doing all that stuff, or how'd you learn that?
I had a little bit. I mean, I had been in management, so I had known how to work within a corporate structure.
Yeah.
But basically, even whenever I first started, my whole idea was I have to systematize this. If I want to build it bigger than I could just do myself.
Yeah.
And so that was my goal. And I actually, at one point in time, while I was at Represent, I did a high level coaching program, and we had a lot of guys that went through that. We had Matt Schmidt that went through that. We've got,
I recognize that name. I've never met that guy, but I've heard about him.
Yeah. Matt Schmidt, Ricky Mataka, and a bunch of other people that went through that program. And Ricky Mitaka, that's when he first got his start into the e-com side, as he was going through that and building out the system that I recommended they build out. So, after that, left Represent and started up my own Shopify stores. And about I would say about a year after running our Shopify stores, we got tired of handling all the fulfillment and whatnot and all those headaches, and we went full force with building our agency. And now we're about a year and a half in, we're a multi-million-dollar agency. We've got 24 employees, and we are hopefully going to be on the Inc. 5000 list this next year in 2019.
Nice. Wow, that's cool.
So that's a pretty cool feat, I think, that we've done. But we work with a lot of big names. I mean, we work with people like Grant Cardone. We work with people like Ivory Ella, which is another one of our big clients. We've done a lot of work with big names like Jeep and Sony and Dove. I mean, just a lot of really big.
What's that like, having a corporate client like Jeep?
It's a lot of work, and you got to make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and make sure that you just deliver and whatnot. And then my friend, who I had mentioned that had become a client, who got me into this, is actually as a e-commerce brand, he has more social mentions on Facebook than Amazon.
Really?
Wow.
And so his brand that he built is a company called I Heart Dogs.
I know the one.
Dude.
I feel like I feel like I've been ripping stuff off from that for the last like 5 years. I'm not kidding. I don't even run any dog stuff anymore. But like,
they're literally they're huge. Like, I mean, they do crazy amounts of volume. I mean, we're talking about tens of millions in revenue.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Off iHeart Dogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
The way they do stuff is so different than like the normal e-com store too. It's smart, man. It's like, it's complex.
He is a very, very intelligent guy. And so he's all about building systems. He previously built another company to like $12 million as like their main like director of e-commerce, and then decided he wanted to do it on his own.
Wow.
So
how does iHeart Dogs, like, don't talk about what you can't talk about, obviously.
Of course.
But do they sell like a lot of merchandise, or what's their thing?
Absolutely. They have built an entire ecosystem of merchandise sales. They've got pet treats. I mean, they even sell coffee.
Really?
They've got a huge content section. Like they've got veterinarians on staff for writing their content.
Wow.
For animals, and they make a lot of money off of AdSense and different native networks and things like that. So they've got the whole kit and caboodle, from like it's a soup to nuts organization with merchandise and content and remarketing and email, and I mean every sequence you can think of, they've got it down.
Damn, that's awesome.
It is a beast of a site.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, Tyler, but yeah, I would definitely check it out. They're great.
I've definitely seen the page probably like 2.5 years ago. And even then it was getting a ton of traction. Now, like it fell off the radar, you know what I mean? But I'm definitely going to check it out after this.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, I think between all of their social properties, they have something like 50 million followers or 60 million.
Wow.
You know what blows my mind, man? Was there like 335 million Americans? They have like 1/7 of America.
Yeah. Exactly.
Unbelievable.
I know, it's crazy that we have that type of reach at our fingertips with, Facebook and Instagram. And there's a lot of people.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of people that are saying that, Facebook is, dying off. And in some respects, there's definitely like increases in costs and things like that. But I mean, we've got brand new, companies that are starting out with, like we have one that started out with us, and they'd been in business for, I think, 7 years, and they were only spending $5,000 a month. And we just scaled them up literally within the last 60 days to $50,000 in spend a month.
Wow.
And doing so profitably.
Yeah.
But there's people that say that Facebook is dying off now and that it's not going to work. And that's BS. I mean, it really is.
Do you find the demo is changing on Facebook more so instead of it dying off?
There's been some interesting things. Like we've got a few women's apparel brands that in the past you would expect like the 35 and above crowd, women being the major purchasers, but we've got some of them that are surprising, where you're getting a lot of the younger crowd that's purchasing. But that's unique, obviously, to each brand. I mean, you're not going to expect a camping brand to be selling to 18 to 25-year-old females. I mean, it's just not the demographic for it.
Yeah, that's true.
What? So right now, you guys just strictly focus on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep, that's all we do.
No Google, no native, no YouTube.
We only focus on what we're the best at, and
that makes total sense.
I mean, we don't. Yes, we could probably grow our business in the future by bringing on some people to handle Google Display or whatever. And add that as an additional service to our agency. But we want to be known for being the best. We beat out a lot of other agencies when we've been in a dual agency scenario. So a dual agency scenario would be like one of our top clients, Ivory Ella. When we started with them, we were, and I'm not going to say the other agencies' names because I'm not going to disparage anybody.
Yeah. It was me, guys. It was me.
Yeah, so we started with them, and basically over an entire year through a Christmas season, like we were splitting budgets between this other agency and us, and we just kept outperforming them every single month. We would, we started out with $20,000 budget while this other agency had $500,000 budget.
Wow.
And we just continued to prove that our methods were getting them better results. And so we kept increasing our spend, and they were decreasing their spend, for the client's request. Yeah. And then eventually you just beat them out because we were delivering that like a 6 times return on their money. And the other agency was delivering a 4 times return on their money.
Damn, so, Kenny, you looking for a job, bro?
Nope.
No, shakes his head.
No. I have 12 of them right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as far as the agency goes, I mean, we've built it into a model that we are able to constantly bring on new clients at any given moment in time. We've got a great pipeline for sourcing qualified applicants to work with our team and then teach them our processes. Actually, I have a course out called Brand Builders Academy, and we're not selling it right now at this moment. It was kind of an entry level program that taught people like the concepts behind marketing. And then we followed up this year with another one called Ads Architect, which is my exact training course that I used to train all of our employees.
Wow.
And so
dude, I'm buying that.
We are buying that. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like 30 hours of content. And basically, it walks you through some of even the most simplest stuff, like how to set up your business manager.
Yeah.
Or how to know how to build the structure in business manager if you've got employees, or just a lot of details that you don't really see in a lot of other courses. I wanted to make sure that everybody had the full soup to nuts kind of strategy on using Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's what we do with our employees, is we train them through that course. And then we do a lot of hands-on training with each one of our account managers so that they get all of our methods.
Nice.
And then that way they can execute. It's basically duplicating myself and my other business partner, Chase Winslow. I think you guys may know him. Do you guys know Chase?
I don't know Chase, no.
I do not,
okay.
No.
He's been around for the block for about 13 years in the internet marketing space. So he's done it all. He's our chief marketing officer and one of my other business partners.
That's
nice.
Cool.
Man, you know what I noticed, just as you're talking, how often you say duplication.
Oh, yeah.
Breakfast with another entrepreneur this morning, emailer, and me and him were talking about scalability, duplication. And you can always kind of tell where people are in their entrepreneurial career based on the stuff they talk about. Like a guy like you who's talking about duplication, scaling, you can tell you have a much bigger team than just 1, 2, 3 people. There's a whole fucking team there.
Yeah.
And you talk about having an in-house training and everything like that, man. It's really cool to see.
Well, and you have to go to extent. I mean, this last year we had to hire an HR manager so that we could manage our whole hiring process and get systems. We use a tool that we pay for. It's like $2,500 a year called Recruiter Box, which we use for onboarding and getting our employees up to speed and making sure that they've got what they need. We go through all these processes. And here's the thing. I hate processes, but they're a necessary evil. You have to build them. If you want to scale, I could sit here, have 1 or 2 clients myself and make 6-figure income easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to be at that next level where we're doing $10 million or $20 million a year, I have to build out systems that can duplicate myself and my own processes so that other people can do the same exact thing that I'm doing.
Totally.
and execute at a high level so that we still can deliver better results than other agencies can. Mm-hmm. And that's really the thing with any business. You move from really being essentially like a freelancer at the beginning, or somebody who's just dabbling in it. You're basically at that point, you're considered self-employed, right? So you're working, and you could be generating income, but where do you move into that phase where you're starting to focus on your business like a CEO, where you're trying to make sure you've got other people in place that can handle things to where you're not even thinking of it. I hardly ever look at our finances because we've got a CFO who is doing all that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in their entrepreneurial journey, they're sitting there, okay, I've got XYZ coming in, I've got this much going out, I need to make sure I've got, all my bills paid.
Yeah.
So it definitely takes time to develop. It's not something that happens overnight.
Mm-hmm.
There are no overnight successes. I've never seen one.
I've never seen one stick around. I've seen people hit the moon and then crash right back down to earth.
Yeah. Exactly. I've seen that too. You're right. But it's definitely all of the people that I know that are doing a really good job are people that have built out systems and processes, and they get good people in place.
Yeah.
And, I constantly get, questions from our CFO about, about somebody one of our employees who's making like gangbuster like money. And it's because we pay our employees based off of commission. And if they're doing a good job, then they're making more money. It's like, we want to reward those people for their success, but we also want to retain those people. Yeah. We want to invest into our employees in their life so that they stick around and help our business grow. And we just reward them based on that performance. So,
dude, I love that thought process because it's like everybody wins. There's so many people I meet out there where it's like only one side wins. I think exactly like you do. I feel in order to have a long-term relationships, which are the most profitable relationships because you make money over and over and over again, you have to retain people. And to do that, you got to treat them well.
Yeah. Well, and we've built our entire business kind of on that premise. It's a little bit of an old school mindset. Like I love to do business. Like if I didn't have to do contracts with people and I could just do a handshake, like that's the type of deals that I like.
Yes.
Same here.
But we've built our business, in a way like most agencies, for example, they like to have like 3 month, 6 month or year-long contracts to work with them. And we have no contract. We're month to month entirely because we believe that we should be performing well for our client and they should want to keep us. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't look at us as being an extra expense. They should look at us as being the ones that are delivering them more revenue.
Yeah.
And if we're performing better than other people, then they will want to stick around with us. And so that's how we've built that. And it's a part of our company culture is ingrained all the way down to our most junior media buyers. Like it's all about the performance and driving that revenue and driving the ROAS for the client, so that we can continue to spend more and the company continues to grow. And everybody is equally sharing in that, from our sales team to our account managers to our junior media buyers. I mean, everybody across the board, as we've been growing, is generating more income for themselves.
That's awesome.
And, like one of our employees, one of our longest standing employees, started out with us doing customer support when we were doing Shopify. She was getting paid $10 an hour. Right? Yeah. She had. Do
you hire all within the U.S. or do you hire worldwide, or how's it?
For our account managers, we tend to hire everybody in the U.S. and then we've got an offshore team of about 10 people that are junior media buyers in Bangladesh.
Nice.
And so what they do is they do all the nitty gritty work, and then the account managers doing the more strategy focused work. Nice. But this one gal started with us like 2 years ago when we were doing Shopify, doing like customer support, making $10 an hour. Eventually she was like, I really want to learn this whole back end of Facebook thing. And about August of last year, we started training her. And by November, she was spending $400,000 a month for a client at a 6 times return.
Wow.
And, now this year, I mean, she's going to, she went from making $10 an hour 2 years ago to she's going to make like 50 or 60 grand a year, this year.
Yeah.
I think, actually this year she's making that, and she'll probably make more than that next year, working from home. She's a mom with 3 kids.
Yeah.
And she does just a fantastic job. And so,
dude, that's amazing.
We've been able to give people that like income opportunity that they wouldn't normally have. And we're a fun company. We like to have fun, and let all of our employees work from home. So
nice.
Yeah, we had a corporate office about a year and a half ago that we shut down. And we just didn't like that whole vibe. Like we like the freedom that everybody has to have the whole laptop lifestyle or whatever you want to call it.
Do you find any challenges with having a completely remote team? Because I know like my team's the same way, man. But there's a few challenges that I find like running into that, you know?
I think we've kind of worked through all those. So what we do from a communication standpoint is we've got, again, we've systematized our communication. That's a big part of it. So our main channel that we use for communication is Slack.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And everybody's communicating. Like we actually require our clients to have a shared channel on Slack with us, and that's how we communicate to them even.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So it's all that type of communication. And then we've got scheduled out meetings where we get on Zoom, and we have FaceTime where we're going through like account manager reviews, management team reviews, where we've got weekly team meetings that we do, and we try to make them all extremely fun. It's not about like just being boring details on data. But we've built out that communication structure so that everybody does get that kind of camaraderie that you would usually get whenever you're in an office with other people and whatnot.
Nice.
You'll have that freedom and flexibility of being remote.
That's awesome.
So and then with our clients, it's the same way. I mean, we've got structures where we've got specific meetings that we do on a weekly basis with their account managers so that they get FaceTime with those people.
That's great for retention.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's one of the big things. One of the reasons why a lot of our clients love us so much is that because of being in Slack, we're getting real-time communication with them throughout the day.
Nice.
And with other agencies, you'll find is they typically try to schedule out like, hey, we need to schedule a meeting to talk about XYZ marketing plan.
Yeah.
And we're like literally on the fly, like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, we're gonna try this out. And
you're almost like an in-house like replacement Facebook team for them.
That's exactly what we are.
Yeah. I can understand how people really like that. I've hired an agency in the past, and they were cool, but everything went through Basecamp, you know, and you'd find out like generally the next day what was going on.
Yeah.
And by then the money's spent, the idea's gone, whatever it is. That's so cool to have that in-house vibe.
Yep. Yeah. And that's why we do it that way. It makes it just makes the business work more efficiently.
Yeah.
And you, at least for us, it allows us to retain the clients who are wanting to, you know, they want that detail information. Like they're asking about one little thing here, and they can get an immediate response from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you're spending $500K a month, I'm sure they want to be involved on some level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
I actually want to touch on that next too, man. Like as far as people spending that much money, like obviously, you know, people are spending this money and they're making a return on that money, right? So in order to scale that, like what are you seeing overall, first of all, from Facebook and Instagram as a whole? Like, are you still seeing, obviously it seems like you're seeing great returns. And with that said, if that's what you're seeing, what is it that you think you're doing differently than other people who struggle on those channels?
I was going to ask that too.
Well, one of the things is we build, you guys are funny. We build a system that is product marketing focused. So a lot of our clients have wide inventories, right? And when we've been in these dual agency scenarios, we've seen other well-respected agencies that, you know, they're focused on just the message, like, oh, there's a sale going on, we're going to do sales specific.
Blanket marketing never works, man.
And that's what a lot of these agencies do. And we get in, and do some crazy stuff. Like we have one client that we were launching 1,000 new ad sets a week.
Holy shit.
And that was on 200 products. So there's a lot of duplication that ends up happening there into different audiences. And so we're taking an approach that is very aggressive, looking at certain metrics. Like that particular client, we would launch 1,000 new ads on a Thursday, and we would watch the ads, and any of them that did not have an add to cart by the first $8 got cut.
Yes.
And then the next section would be as if it didn't have a purchase by $13, it got cut. And then if it didn't have 2 purchases or a 2.5 ROAS by $23, it got cut.
I'm assuming you're using automated rules for this?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Wow.
Can you put some of that work?
We have automated rules set up as backups, but most of this is being done manually.
Okay. Is there a reason you do manually over using like a modern tool for that?
We've tried using the modern tools, and they just they don't have that intuition to make a decision on something that you see. Like you may see better metrics on another area, like CPMs being lower. And whenever we've stacked some of those automated rules, even on the like back end of Facebook, like we've not using other people's automated rules. We're just using Facebook's back end. And we've seen that it can create problems for ad sets that do take off, but then they start to, I mean, I'm sure there probably would be a stack of automated rules we could probably make work in some instances, but we just prefer to do as much as we can manually.
I get it, man. Shit's working.
I find it always kills stuff way too soon. Always kills ads way too soon. Yeah,
exactly. You know, and as far as like how well things are going, I mean, we've got one client right now. They're not a huge client, but they're going to spend like 70 grand this month. You know, and people are complaining about CPMs going up. Yeah, CPMs are going up. Last year in November, their CPM was $12 for their traffic. This year, it's $19. So it's definitely had increases in costs. But the beautiful thing is we've spent more money than they've spent last year. And last year they were at a 2.3 return on their money, and we're at a 2.6.
Wow.
Even with the higher costs.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it still works. I mean,
it's funny. I feel like whenever someone's dying out on Facebook complaining about prices, there's another dude just crushing it. And it's always been that way.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like whenever back in Represent, when we first started building the internal team that we were launching shirts, like it was back in the time where everybody was saying that you couldn't do Second Amendment shirts anymore. It was too hard. The market was too saturated. And I'm like that. I don't see that as being true. I don't see the market being too saturated. If you've got a great marketing and a great product, you should still be able to crush it. And so I went all in on this one, and it was another Second Amendment shirt, and did really well with it. The first like $100 that we spent, we didn't even get a conversion. And most people would, even by my own strategy, I would normally not do that. But I'm like, I know this shirt is going to crush.
You're bought in.
Yeah.
No. And so I pushed it as hard as I could. And I mean, we did like $250,000 on that one shirt.
Wow.
But so that's why I say there's some like intuition that you need to use whenever you're doing ads. And that is not something that just comes. I mean, it comes with experience. You've got to see a lot of data. And I've been fortunate to see a lot of data and know how metrics work and how we can react to them. So
do you notice that there's a pivot point in an ad? Because what you were saying there, you let it run for $100 and it didn't do shit. But I've seen similar things where it just it loses or maybe breaks even. Then all of a sudden one day it's just yep, we're going, and then it just takes off.
Yeah. Well, and that's partly because we didn't really know about how Facebook's learning mode worked back then. I mean, we had an idea that Facebook had some sort of optimization that they were looking at over time. And then it wasn't until the end of last year that they really started talking about the whole learning mode of ads, where, you've got to wait for X amount of things to happen, whether it's X amount of clicks or X amount of sales or whatever, before those ads become optimized, and then you can scale them. And so can
you break that down for you don't have to go full detailed into it, but
so basically the learning mode, and this is something that I even teach in my course, and the one that we give to our employees, is learning mode is basically the initial algorithm that is looking at your ad sets to determine whether or not they're going to be optimized for whatever objective that you're looking at. So if you're optimizing for a purchase, what it's doing is it's trying to compile a certain amount of conversions or a certain amount of add to carts before it optimizes and before you can start scaling it. So what we do is we'll launch an ad, and it may be like 50 sales before that that ad set comes out of that learning mode.
Yeah.
And you can look at that on the back end of Facebook's Business Manager when you're looking at your ads. There's a little section, if you look at delivery, it will tell you whether the initial learning has been completed or if it's still in that learning mode. And while it's in learning mode, we don't touch.
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. I don't run Facebook ads. Gabe runs all our ads.
That's me.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
So the learning mode is basically what we use as like our main metric to decide whether we can scale. So if we see an ad that's right out of the gate, it's doing well. In the past, people would say, okay, that's awesome. That ad's taken off. It's got great return. It's got getting good sales. Let's crank the budget. Well, what happens when you do that in learning mode is it kills the optimization, and you can make your ads die after a few days.
Wow.
And so what we do is when we set up ads, we're letting them run until the full learning mode has been completed. And if we see something that is taking off, we may duplicate it to try to increase the budget, but we never touch that initial ad set because we don't want to screw with the optimization.
Interesting.
We just do that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The duplication method, the best.
It works. I mean, that's how we were. That's how we were able to spend. How much did we spend? Like one of our clients, we spent 180 grand on Black Friday.
Wow.
Nice.
This Black Friday?
This Black Friday.
Wow.
What did that return for them?
It returned a pretty good amount. I think it was I'd have to look at the numbers, but it was good. It was really good.
He was happy.
He was happy.
Damn, that's a lot to spend in one day, man.
It was less than last year. But still, it was still good.
Yeah.
Can we talk about sorry to cut you off, but since we're on the topic of Black Friday, I want to talk about your $1 million day.
Well, that $1 million day was with that exact client. Just speaking of, and it was.
Can you, if you can't say who it is, that's totally cool. But can you say who it is?
Ivoriella.
Gotcha.
Ivoriella.
I gotta look up what that even is.
They're a fashion brand. I believe they're about like a $50 million a year company. They
are now.
Yeah.
They do stuff that's focused around like Save the Elephants. Like
really?
Fashion brand type stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Ivory makes sense.
Yeah, Ivoriella. So anyways, what we did with them, and it's the same thing we do with all of our clients, is we build a massive set of evergreen type of campaigns. And then we go very heavy into like building that up throughout the year. And then once we get into like the whole Black Friday time period, we're massively trying to pump traffic before Black Friday, like 2 to 3 weeks before Black Friday. We're trying to get people into that funnel so that we can have a really like deep DPA retargeting type of sequence so that we can like just really crush it with that side of it. But
that's
we've got
so smart
evergreen campaigns that are running, and then we've got the stuff that's running up until Black Friday. And then once Black Friday hits, and we've got a lot of ads that are set to go up. Like, I mean, we're talking about 50 campaigns with 5 ad sets a piece at $500 per ad set, just like going really, really wide. And then we basically, to spend that 180 grand that we spent this Black Friday, we had to put up about $290,000 in budgeted ads on the board to get it to spend 180 grand.
Wow.
We were having
to spend more.
Well, yeah, we launch as much as we can. And then what we're doing is we're aggressively cutting throughout the day on the ones that are not showing the initial metrics working that we need them to.
Wow.
So
dude, that's awesome.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things is that other agencies don't want to do that type of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work for what we have to do, but we get a good return on it, and makes clients have a lot better results. So that's why we do it.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Do you guys, so you guys only handle the paid traffic, do you also help people out with like their back end of like the follow-ups and stuff for Black Friday? Because I know that's going to be a huge part in hitting those numbers.
We do to some extent. Like with some of our clients, like we'll go in and give them recommendations. Like we won't actually execute on the work, but we'll say, hey, you need to be doing this. Mm-hmm. Like one of our clients we were working with, we were telling them you need to get somebody to do conversion rate optimization on your site.
Yeah.
And because we know what needs to be done, and he's like, no, I think it's fine. It's converting. We're like, no, your site is not converting fine. You're converting at like a 2.3%, and we've got other clients that are converting at an 8%.
Yeah.
And we're like, we literally had to get on Zoom and do a screen share and walk them through. We're like, do you know how many clicks it takes to get to the completed checkout? 8.
Wow.
We're like, oh, here's this pop-up. We got to get rid of this. Oh, here's this popping up. We got to get rid of this. I'm like,
yeah.
You see why you need conversion rate optimization? We're showing them the very things that they need to do. So yeah, we definitely help our clients in that respect. And then we've had other projects, like we just migrated a client over from Magento, where they were getting a 1.3% conversion rate. Basically rebuilt their entire site, optimized it on Shopify, and like immediately first day out of the gate, they were getting like a 4 to 5%.
Wow. That's crazy.
What do you think made the difference? Because that's a huge conversion rate jump.
Oh, their site was really nasty on Magento. I mean, it was like if you clicked on an item, you were wanting to check out on that item. It's like there was no checkout button. You had to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page past all their like footer stuff. And it was even worse on mobile, because you like hit add to cart, and then it took you to the cart, and there was no proceed to checkout. Like it was literally like scroll on your phone all the way to the bottom to find a checkout button that was buried, and it was like the colors weren't even standing out on it. So it's like when people don't take those things seriously. And this one, it was funny because the owner of this company, they're a $25 million a year ladies undergarment company. Mm-hmm. And he was like, he didn't believe that he's like, I spent $75,000 on this website, and we're like, well, you spent $75,000 on it, but it's not working, man.
How many years ago did you spend that?
Yeah, last year they spent like $75,000.
I love how they justify the site with how much they spent on it.
Oh yeah, that's
as opposed to a metric.
No, exactly. And we're like, literally, we had like our team rebuilt the site in I think it was like 12 days.
Wow.
And did it for like $10,000.
Damn. Wow.
So, man, that's like there's probably so many sites out there, companies out there that just rip people off making these websites.
I'm hiring Kenny to do my operations, to my Facebook ads, my Instagram ads, and my websites.
Yeah. And you guys are gonna have a full shop over there. Yeah. Doing everything.
Eventually. I mean, the whole point is we enjoy having really cool success stories. We like to, our goal is to see our clients grow. I mean, that's ultimately like our desire as a business is not to try to make the most money off of other people. We want to make the most money for our clients, because then that in turn makes more money for all of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our agency in a nutshell.
That's awesome. What's the next steps? Like, what's the biggest next steps for growth, or your plan?
We are we're actually very involved in a few different growth areas right now. Number one is lead generation. We're doing a lot of that stuff for different industries, but we've got a couple of different divisions that we're setting up for our company to dive into the automotive space and then dive into the real estate space.
Nice.
So we've got some really good connections with Grant Cardone as one of our clients on that side. We're also we're also starting a program with a huge brokerage that has like 15,000 agents to run all of their traffic, and that one's actually an interesting deal because the last company they did this with, Google Display, they introduced them to Fidelity, and Fidelity purchased them for $200 million.
Wow.
So
are these mortgage leads you're going to be generating?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, not only mortgage leads, but new home buyers and new home sellers and things like that. So
sorry, is this on the mortgage side or on the real estate sales side?
It's on both.
Nice.
Mortgage and real estate.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
So we kind of got our hands in both pots on that one. And then the other one is a deal we've been working on, been trying to find the right guy for the automotive space to grow that vertical. And we just found a dude who is managing like $35 million in Facebook ad spend a year for a huge corporation that wants to move over to working with us and build out that program. And so we've got a unique relationship with another traditional marketing agency that does like flyers and mailers and things like that.
Cool.
That's over like 1,100 dealerships. So We're going to come in and start to build out that. So we're building out like a couple of different verticals in different industries beyond e-commerce and course selling. Which is what we're obviously really, really good at that. But we know that there's a lot of business growth in some of these other channels that people, they don't try to, a lot of these people that I hear like in some of the Facebook ad buyers groups and whatnot, they're like, yeah, I'm running for this one dealership. Like we're not thinking one dealership things. We're thinking like corporate programs to grow.
Scalability. There it is again.
Yeah, exactly. My goal is for us to be able to sell our agency within the next, 2 to 3 years for like $30 or $40 million.
Nice.
Like at minimum, that's what I want my goal to be.
Yeah.
And then I'll chill with my family after that.
Yeah. Good call.
Hey, when you sell that, there'll be a job waiting for you over here, Kenny.
I won't want to work for anybody.
Yeah. Fair
Actually, if you're hiring right now, I'd like to submit my resume.
Yeah, me too. I'll work for free on weekends.
One question I had that I didn't want to overlook because I know people ask all the time. You said you moved someone from Magento to Shopify. Is Shopify your platform that you recommend?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
My wife is she's gone.
Hi.
Here, go downstairs, guys. I love you too. My wife is out doing some errands with our oldest daughter, our 13-year-old, and I got the other 3 here. They're chilling downstairs playing video games and whatnot, which they probably shouldn't be. All right, go downstairs, Caitlin.
He has kids popping out of everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
That's so fun.
Just how we roll around here.
Yeah. Perfect.
So yeah, but, that's just our life. Our life is very different. I guess when people look in and see what we do and who we are, we're very focused on tech, and then they see our lifestyle. So we live out in the country. We built our own custom house. It's a 4,500 square foot house.
Wow.
Nice.
And we've got a barn with animals. We've got 3 goats. We've got like 35 chickens. We've got 3 ducks. 7 cats.
People ever mistake you for a farmer as opposed to an internet marketer?
Well, no, because that's what we do as a hobby. Like we've got a greenhouse that we're actually building right now.
Nice.
Because do you have systems for your farming? I have set up systems. I actually have to think about those things because it's like, okay, you've got certain watering patterns. You've got certain things that need to be planted at certain times. Yeah.
You have to systemize your life.
I feel next time we talk to Kenny, he's like, yeah, I just brought on 300 cows.
It goes back to the saying, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Right?
Yeah, it is. So it's funny because we're so like, people look at us and from the outside, they think, oh, there's, tech savvy, like couple, like me and my wife and whatnot. And then they come over for the first time to meet us and they're like, this is weird. Yeah. Like you've got a full like farm estate and it's so anyways.
Where are you guys located?
We're located in Southwest Missouri. We're in a little hole in the wall town. It's the oldest mining town west of the Mississippi.
Wow,
a town called Granby, Missouri. It's got like 2,000 population.
Yeah.
Super small.
Wow.
But even here out in the country, I got 500 meg fiber optics, so I'm fine.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Just shows you can run a successful business from anywhere. No excuses.
Yeah. That's literally what it boils down to. If you put your mind to it, you you can overcome any scenario. I mean, I've been through the scenarios where we've been on the brink of bankruptcy and have had issues and have had to scale down companies and so that we could scale up other companies. I mean, it's not a joyride. It's definitely a peaks and valleys type of thing, being an entrepreneur. And something my dad used to tell me all the time is he said, winners triumph through adversity. Yeah. And that's been kind of like a mantra for me my entire life. It's like when the rubber meets the road, like you've got to be able to push past those barriers and make it for yourself, because I mean, winners triumph through adversity. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah. No, it makes sense, man.
Yeah.
What would, for new people getting started, I always like asking this question because we get this a lot. Say they want to learn Facebook ads or Instagram ads, or even get online in general, man. Would you have some, like, just give them some pointers where they could start or how they could go about getting into it all?
Yeah, there's definitely some good content that you can get from Facebook itself through their Facebook blueprint. And it's not my favorite place to go because it really doesn't go through the marketing strategy and consumer psychology or any of the other things that you really need to know. Sorry, my oldest son is walking in. Hey, go downstairs, bud.
No, I like the cameos, man. This is cool. Steven's family cameo.
I'll be down a bit.
We'll wrap it up soon, I promise.
Yeah. They're like going nuts. They're like, I need dad.
Tell them there's chocolate cake.
That's only because you're busy though. Like if you weren't busy, they wouldn't talk to you.
I just had a call with some members of our team at our agency, and they were doing the same thing. And one of our guys, he's got 3 kids. Yeah. He's like, yeah, no matter what, whenever you get on an important phone call, they could be like the quietest ever, and then all of a sudden it's like they turn into like Tyrannosaurus Rex, like bashing through the forest, like. Kind of.
Yeah.
That's what it's like hanging out with Tyler.
True. Tyler and Reeves.
You had a question, and I totally got off base there.
Oh, just new people getting started, man. What do you recommend?
Yeah, Facebook Blueprint. It's a good one to at least get acclimated with everything. But realistically, like I would suggest diving into as much free content that you can in groups like the Facebook Ad Buyers group. You can get a lot of value from people. Like if you just scour through there, there's a lot of suggestions on things. Yeah. But ultimately what it boils down to is testing, and you actually getting to learn how to manage data and how to see the results on there. And unfortunately that requires you to spend money. I mean, that's just the legitimate thing. Now, the other option would be is you go to a place like the Facebook or the Ad Buyers job board group on Facebook. And there's people that want to hire people to run their marketing all the time, but they could be really small people that only want to spend $1,000 a month, but they need somebody with some technical skills to spend that money. And get yourself some experience with that. I mean, that's a good idea, man. It's one great way to come in and work with somebody on a very small scale and learn the ropes at a small volume before you can start working with other bigger people or spending your own budgets with higher amounts.
Yeah. That's awesome. So,
other than that, I mean, realistically, there's courses out there.
Any top 3 you like?
Well, my course that I put out, Ads Architect, I've had several people like Devin Zanders from Smart Apps, and his people say it's the most well laid out course that they've ever seen. I've gotten to promote it with Adrian Morrison, and he's got a fantastic course on Shopify, which does cover a lot of the Facebook stuff. Mine is more focused on just Facebook. Like it can be used for lead gen, it can be used for e-commerce, it can be used for really any type of business there.
How do people find that course?
We've only been doing it via webinar, and we don't have one currently running. We're actually waiting until, Christmas is over just because it's been crazy.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, with all of our clients and just personal stuff, that we're going through, like with, getting ready for Christmas time. Like we just
number 5 on the way.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing that. I'm good with 4.
Yeah.
And 5 for the cows.
Yeah. I don't have enough land to do cows though. Otherwise I'd do cows.
The key word is you don't have enough land yet.
Yes.
See, I don't know if I want to buy more land though.
You'll make a system for it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're good. I have no doubt that you're going to have more cows in the future.
Well, we've got this land right across the street. It's like
there we go.
I'm not joking. I have looked into it, but I'm just not right now. I can't handle trying to figure out how to raise cattle.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done it, so I mean, it's not something I want to experience right now.
That's so funny.
So when you have a way to get your course, please forward it on to us, because we would love to pass it on to others who are looking for something like that. You are the real deal.
Yeah, I definitely will. I mean, the whole point of being on here was to share some information. I'm not trying to sell my course or anything like that.
Yeah. No, honestly,
if I was, I would have dropped the link already.
Yeah, we have no problem with that as long as the people are legit. Like, our main thing is like no fake gurus, right? So you are the real deal, my friend.
And I hate that term guru, because I'm not a guru. I'm just a guy that's that has been able to experience a lot of things. It doesn't make me better than anybody else. I mean,
and dude, that's exactly what this podcast was about, though. We wanted people that we know, like, actually run the business day to day, not people who talk about running the business day to day.
Yeah.
Those are two completely different people.
Oh yeah, there are. And there's several of them in the industry where they talk a big game and I mean,
send you $100 worth of traffic.
Realistically, they're not actually doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't like those. I don't like those types myself personally. So
yeah, man, it's funny too. People reach out. We get like all these requests all the time. People like, hey, I have this person. I think they'd be great in your podcast. I'll be like, never heard of them. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or we have this one guy recently who I'm like, I can't have him on the podcast until I talk to him first, because I want to know, is he the real deal, or is he just looking to get some FaceTime in? So we're big on that, man. But because we asked the question before, I want to make sure we full circle it. One, you said your course. Any other courses you recommend people get started with?
Like I said, Adrian Morrison's course is really good. We've also got another guy that has a pretty good course, and we're running his traffic as one of our clients. But Kevin David has a fantastic course.
Nice.
Nice.
I recently connected with Kevin. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, he is. He's super smart. So the cool thing about Kevin, though, is that he's an ex-Facebook employee.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's got a lot of really good info in his course. So I definitely recommend that one.
Nice.
And as far as that goes, there's not too many others that I've seen or gone through. If you're into e-commerce, Chris Blair actually has a pretty decent course. Actually, it's probably one of the most thorough print-on-demand type of traffic that traffic channel he's using, from Pinterest to Facebook to, I mean, just a bunch of them. So that's another really solid course that's out there. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's really pretty much it from the Facebook side. There's some other great courses out there that if anybody's into Etsy, you might want to check out Nishant Bardwaj's course. He's got a sick course that is
Brown Hat Marketing.
Yeah, Brown Hat Marketing.
I met Nishant before.
Yep, Nishant's a good friend. He's got his course on Etsy is amazing. He's got a lot of really good student results on it.
Nice.
He did like $130,000 in like 60 days with print on demand on Etsy, and basically he built out this really beautiful system on how to use it. So that's another great course. But other than that, I haven't seen too many other big ones out there in the market that I think cover everything from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
man, I think these are definitely good recommendations, man. One last follow-up question too I have, because we have all sorts of people that listen to this podcast. There's people literally sitting probably in their car in traffic right now listening to this. And then there's some people that have 8-9 figure a year businesses. Mm-hmm. As far as people looking to hire you or your agency, what kind of qualifications do they need to have before they even reach out to you?
Well, we definitely want companies that have some sort of true brand. We've had a lot of clients that are people that want to be clients of ours, potential clients that have come to us, and they've got drop shipping businesses. We really don't work with people like that, just because they're not a defensible brand, and we want to try to build defensible brands.
Could you explain what defensible means?
Well, anybody can steal or your marketing or your style with drop shipping.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got a defensible brand, like one of our clients has a patented shirt that is a baby carrier, but it doesn't look like it's a baby carrier. It looks like a regular T-shirt, but then you can plop your kid in there like a kangaroo does.
Yeah.
I had this mental picture of a kangaroo rolling my head.
It's exactly,
as you were describing it.
Exactly right. But that product's patented. It's defensible. They're going after people that have tried to rip them off. So like that's a defensible brand. Like you can take somebody to court if they're infringing on your patent or your trademark or whatever.
Yeah.
So we look for brands like that typically.
That's actually really good business advice for anyone listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a defensible brand.
Absolutely, 100%. And so we try to work with companies like that. And then other than that, we want to make sure that they've got a decent amount of data, because data is truly the key to what our agency does. If we don't have that data, it makes it much harder for a brand to start to spend and start to get to a point where they're profitable.
Yeah.
So we typically are working only with established brands. And then as far as like any other sort of criteria, we basically don't have any criteria as far as like how much you're spending. We used to in the past, we used to say we only took $50,000 clients like a month in ad spend or more. And now we've built the model to where it works, basically charging clients $3,000 upfront retainer up to $20,000 a month in spend. And then once they pass that $20,000 in spend up to $100,000, it's 15% of ad spend.
Gotcha.
Once they pass that mark, then we have other programs once they surpass that. So
nice.
So that's really kind of how we do it, and it's done on no contract. It's just a month-to-month type of agreement, and if we do well for you, then they keep us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really what it boils down to.
Simple.
Pretty simple.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What if anyone wants to reach out to you to talk about that, what's the best way they can contact you?
You can reach out to our VP of sales. His name is Taylor Truitt, and that email is just taylor@mediamaven.io, TAYLOR @mediamaven.io.
Nice.
Cool.
Maven, MAVEN.
Yeah, MEDIAMAVEN.
Awesome.
All right, man. Like we're past an hour here. This is such a good podcast. I want to keep going.
I honestly have like 10 more questions.
I can tell.
I know. Due to sake of time, I won't go into it.
Yeah, we'll have to meet up in person and chat, man. Because
Are you guys going to Funnel Hacking Live?
Where is that?
I believe it's in Nashville this year.
No,
Nashville.
I don't on it, but I'm open to it. So
yeah, we're doing a big event with all of Russell Brunson's inner circle people, like a big after party event.
Nice.
Cool.
That we're throwing there. So
never been to Nashville. I would like to go though.
It's awesome. I mean, we've got one of the top spots in the city, like that we're renting out full bar, and we got a DJ actually. DJ who's opened up for Gwen Stefani and the Yin Yang Twins and Imagine Dragons.
Nice.
He's going to be there.
You had me at Yin Yang Twins. Gwen Stefani, I was like, whatever.
He's open for a bunch of people. I mean,
that's awesome.
Crazy. So,
yeah.
But anyway, it's going to be a big fun party. And then the next event that we're going to is Grant Cardone's 10X conference.
In the stadium? The big one?
The one that we're trying to sell 35,000 tickets for, yes.
Man, that guy does it big. Every time I see that guy, I'm like, wow, you just took this to the next level, man. Like, that's awesome.
100%. So
I got the next big idea for Grant Cardone. Next conference on the moon.
I I don't know if he can get everybody there.
Grant's the type of dude that will find a way.
That'd be expensive.
He'll just
Russia would help. Russia would help.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Awesome, man.
All right.
Well, dude,
yeah, go for it.
Thank you so much for the time, man. I'm so glad you were able to pop on. It was cool reconnecting at the Morrison event lately. And yeah, man, thanks for the time. I know a lot of people are going to learn a lot from this whole podcast episode.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I was glad to be here and appreciate your guys' time as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube, and give us a review on iTunes. That's all I really got to say for that. But
actually, there's one more thing we want to add.
There isn't.
Oh, there is. Sign up for our email list, and I'll tell you why. One is because as soon as a new episode comes out, we'll email you and let you know when it's coming out. And the second thing is, there's a lot of people who've been asking for like more detail and specific training from different people on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I haven't even talked to Kenny about it. I don't even know if he wants to or whatever. But what we're gonna do is get more like specific questions, because I know for myself, I need to see things to really understand them. And so if that's something you're interested in, go to the website. I'm sure Gabe will point out somewhere, and subscribe to the email list so we can let you know about those things as they come out.
It's like the first thing they see on the website. It's pretty easy.
Perfect.
Yes. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks for your time again, man. Appreciate it. Peace.